Welcome to Shayba Arena, one of the centers of excitement at the Sochi 2014 Paralympic Winter Games ice sledge hockey tournament. It is qualification evening, and while Thursday's medal round may be where much of the glory will be chased, you can expect national pride and the thrill of Paralympic competition will drive these teams here tonight. Two of the hard luck teams in this tournament. Korea with the memorable opening night stunning upset of the host country Russia in a shootout. Korea did not win again. Then there's the Czech Republic. They gave up 3 goals, and yet they're not in the medal round. Behind that man, Michal Vapinka. They won a game in a shootout. They lost one in a shootout and lost 1-0 to a dominant Canadian ice sledge hockey Paralympic team. So, ladies and gentlemen, this game may be for lower qualifications at the bottom and nowhere near the medal round, but these are two excellent teams. I'm Tom Kirkland. I'll be calling the play along with former GB captain Brent Pope handling the analysis. And as you see these two teams, this could easily be a medal round game.
It certainly could. And, you know, the Czechs, as you mentioned, with only conceding 3 goals in the preliminary round, certainly feeling, well, they're not actually disappointed. The way they left the game in day 4, it was their final match against Canada, losing 1-0. In many ways was almost seen as a victory. You got to remember the Czechs, as we look at their lineup, Papenka has been outstanding. Kavak and Gubitz on the blue line. Gier is number 74. I would look out for him. He has scored already in this tournament. He is a real threat, but you know, they are a team only in their second Paralympic Games, as are here now Korea in their second Paralympic Games, as they build towards their own hosting of the Games in Pyeongchang in 2018. And this side here is getting better all the time, but you're playing against the best, and when you're playing against the best, it's small margins of victory, and neither of these teams could quite do enough to get themselves into that medal round.
Yes, that's the Czech Republic coach, Jiří Bříza. First time he's his second Paralympics. He was 5th in Vancouver in 2010. The head coach is 37 years old. And on the other side, Coach Kim has seen it all here in this last week here in Sochi. He is led by his forward, Seung-Won Young, who has a goal in his 82 minutes of action, leads the Korean team. You'll keep an eye on 14 in white, Young, and that man right there, who is the Czech Republic's captain and a player certainly to be reckoned with for the Koreans. They'll have to keep their eye on.
It's Safranek there, the Czech captain, and he's been right in amongst it. There's been a line of them for the Czechs, and Safranek is one of the leaders in that Wojcik and Pallant line. As you look at Vapenka, 1.24 goals against, and the save percentage of 90.48. He's been good, and he has kept them right in it. And the numbers on the other side for his counterpart. And Yu, 2.26, 86.54, the saves there. So possibly a little small margin of advantage for the Czechs in goal. And when we're talking about small margins, that could in fact be the difference in this match.
That's right. Moon Jae-Yu, the keeper for Korea, is not short on confidence. He says, I am the best goalie in the world. And he has had moments where he's looked like it. For instance, the night that they rallied to knock off the Russians when they were down 2-0 late in period number 2. Yu was just phenomenal, as was that man who scored 2 goals against the Russians, including the game winner. But they're facing a team in the Czech Republic that's the second oldest team. These are 2 of the oldest teams, the 2 oldest teams, averaging 38 and 36 years of age on both sides, and you'll see no lack of effort. They will not slow down.
Samilov, the Russian official, set to drop the puck on this one.
And the Czechs take the face-off, and down they come. On the way in, 96, Kupika, send it back and deflect it, and now giving chase is Han, one of the heroes for the Koreans. You see the early strategies developing. Nice little work with both sticks, actually. And here comes Jung ahead of the play. Keeps onside, sets up the teammate in the shot, and an easy early save. But the rebound, okay, controlled. Fairly easy first save for Michal Vipinka, who likes to have that. You like to get the puck and maybe not have to make an acrobatic save right away.
Of course, and one of the challenges here is the Czechs again. This is Gier on the break for the Czech Republic. Unfortunately, it was played from behind their own half of center. It will go for icing against. And one of the challenges is, as we look at this play, good offload from the Koreans to get it through, is the defenders coming back towards goal sometimes in their pursuit, because it's difficult to manage these sledges, particularly when you're at top flight, is being in control of those loose rebounds that will sit in front of your own goal and making sure that you manage them so that you actually take them away to safety rather than creating even further danger.
Hebel on the face-off and controls it. Hebel leading down the boards ahead of the pack now, and he's got his teammate Michal Gier, who has a goal on 5 shots but can't catch up, and back come the Koreans. Flipped in, and the board's very lively here in Sochi. And a little shot and a little bit of trouble as Park sent it in. Saved, so the early shots at least in favor of the Koreans.
Well, it's always a good thing. Another icing here, though, for the Czechs is just get those shots in, and sometimes it's of 2 different ways you can think about this. Sometimes it warms up the opposing goaltender, or equally when nerves are generally at their highest right at the beginning of a match, that you can maybe get them when they are either A, not feeling as comfortable or as confident as they would like to, and until they get a chance to touch it, then they're not entirely sure just where they're at in the game.
Lee in the face-off circle. Bochik was chased, and Jung, keep an eye on him, fastest man in the world, according to everybody in the ice sledge hockey community. Meantime, the Czechs trying to turn the tide here as we go 2 minutes into this one.
The official just calling the play, whether it was the player just losing his equipment there temporarily, but you talk about the Korean goaltender at the beginning of this one, you saying that he's the best goaltender in the world. He certainly is big. As we look at Vapenka, he also has good size, and he's able just generally just to sort of take that, his goal pads there, play it across, and he kind of plays that long stretch style across the front. But size is an advantage in goal, particularly as the sledge, the movement to be able to take away the top part of the net is obviously restricted and it relies just exclusively on the blocker and glove, but size is crucial.
Hahn lost it. His teammate picks it up and the chase begins, and it's over 2 lines and icing.
And the surprising really is we're just only a couple minutes gone into this one, and there's been 3 or 4 icings already, and that would suggest nerves, that both teams are really not entirely sure of just how to settle into this one. And that's what I mentioned about the goaltenders as well. Until they get to feel the puck, as the nerves getting ready for this one, they just aren't entirely sure whether or not it's going to be their day. There's days when they feel good, and there's days when maybe not so much.
And an immediate shot, deflected, knocked away. That's Miroslav Hrbek, who knocks it into the corner. Hrbek gathers it again, and all of a sudden it's right in front. And here comes 82, Hebel. And now the Korean defenders give chase. Wu sends it all the way around and out. And it's now an opportunity in front out of nowhere, and a big save, and it hit right off his helmet. Oh, and you can see the reaction of Cho, who just lets it go, and it's a head save.
Wow, and it just takes his helmet clean off there as he elects to use it, and look how loose that helmet is actually fitting on the head of Vapenka, and a little bit dangerous in fairness, as we're wondering whether or not we need to get some support for him, but he seems fine. It seems to be the way he wants to wear it, but he elects to use his head there. He dips it down, makes that save.
Yep, and Cho thought he had better coming. He's already scored 1 goal in this tournament, and now a little bit of tape. Let's tape it up, and he'll be right back out there.
And he'd have been a little surprised as well to make that save, just how easily that came off with the official. Very quick. And there was a play that went off of the face mask as well early in the tournament on Vapenka, and it ricocheted and allowed a great opportunity, and he was scored on. And that was in a game against the Norwegians, and he'll be feeling a little bit frustrated at how that worked out against him now. And it was to his fortune. Yes, the whistle was blown there for his safety, but it depends on the discretion of the official.
Yeah, certainly anything that ends up behind him, he's not going to feel good about. And bottom line is that puck ended up well in front of him, and his helmet came totally off. And another shot right in front as the Koreans have chances. Where's the puck? They are in great shape. They keep banging away at it. And out of the pile comes David Pallett. He scored a goal in these games on 7 shots. Now chased down by Eric Fojtik. And around the side, Hughes has it. But it's now the property of the Koreans, and they just scale it right back in, and the chase begins anew. Off to the side. And down, and an opportunity if it's not icing. That's not going to be caught. A little too far for David Motika to catch it, so another icing.
Well, again, both of these teams just trying to get a rhythm and some sense of timing for each other. And remember, this is the 4th game now in 5 days. In day 5, if you look at Breeze is a very, well, I'd call him a coach, he's a player's coach, as he's very communicative, often down discussing with his players exactly what he requires of them, and very much a teacher in the course of these games as well.
Chances again for the Koreans in front. That puck is loose, and a scary sight for the goalkeeper until it's far and away from his region. And relentless is the pursuit of Motika, and eventually pops the puck free. And another collision won by the Koreans. And that's Jung who had it momentarily. You mentioned Breeza, the head coach. After 2 years as an assistant, he's now running the show for the Czech Republic and describes himself as a cheerleader motivator. He says players can come through training tired from work, and it's hard to find a way to have a good time and create a good atmosphere. I have to be a motivator and always positive thinker. I need to help them know who we are, what we can do, and how we can play.
Well, so much is the case as well for Kim, the head coach of Korea. Here is a nation that's about to host their own Olympic and Paralympic competition coming up in Pyeongchang in 2018. And you see a lot of growth and strength in the Korean program. They were able to get themselves a silver medal, as you're looking at Frieza now, in the World Championships in 2012. But coming in here, Korea end up winning the Olympic or the Paralympic qualification tournament in Torino to qualify for Sochi. And they are an emerging program, and particularly after beating the Russians in day number 1, they would have thought they had a chance to maybe go on and get a medal here, but unable to carry on that form throughout the remainder of their games.
Yeah, and again, it was, they went into the game with Italy. Italy had nothing to play for. They were already out of it, winless in 2 games, and the Italians stood up and played a tremendous game, and a breakaway possibility. Here come the Czech Republic, and he's ahead of the field. Opportunity, but a great hustle on the back check. However, Geyer looked like he had an opportunity to get rid of it to a teammate, and that's going to go all the way back and tilts the ice back that way. But I didn't catch the number of the pursuing Korean defender, but a great job catching up with Michael Geyer.
Well, you had that's the guy that the Czech team will have wanted on that partial breakaway. and he maybe almost plays it a little too far ahead of himself as he's trying to create daylight between him and the Korean defender, and he never really gets the opportunity again to get collection, to get the shot in that he wanted against you. But Geyer has already got a goal in this tournament, and he'd have been the guy that they would have, if they had a choice, could have had that breakaway.
Off the wall, Jung keeps it alive, and here's the man, the fastest when you see him in open ice. He is incredibly quick, taking on cubes now. Koreans come in to take it there, and that's Jang. Up ahead, and look at this man dig. It's Park working behind the net, gobbled up quickly by Safranek, and he uses his left blade. Nicely done. Avoids the icing. Jang and Pallet come together, and the Koreans still have it. Again, this is just a battle in the neutral zone. No team really getting the better of the other as yet.
That's right, both teams are really just still feeling each other out, and we're well in now into the 7th minute of this period. And a different looking complexion in this match here is they're almost muting each other out.
Yeah, the Czech Republic without benefit of a shot on goal yet, while the Koreans have tested Mihal Vopinka 4 times. One hit him in the mask and delayed play. It was a little scary, but he came out of it just fine. And the forecheck continues. And looks like another icing. So fits and starts in this period. Not a lot going on.
Well, a couple of mascots there for the Czech side, and they have been there throughout the tournament. And naturally, just whether or not there's a little bit of an emotional exhale from both of these teams, who, particularly the Czechs, who were right in amongst it. But it is an emotional roller coaster the entire week here for the Paralympic Games. And another draw one.
And a chance, and knocked down by Vopinka's glove. That one appeared ticketed for the top part of the goal, but not to be. And then Han, the hero of game one, gives it away, and down comes the Koreans, and it's high ball, lets it go, and you see Yu with some of what he does. He came out a little, very deft, not afraid to make a play on the puck.
Well, he has the blocker down and takes away the low shot there. And Hebel in on him. And quickly a partial opportunity, the first shot of the day in this match for the Czechs.
Koreans come away with it. Really not much to tell between the two teams. And yet another icing.
It's uncharacteristic of the Czechs at the moment to have employed so many different icings. As you watch the face-off being won by the Koreans, the shot coming in, Vopinka not clean on taking it. And this was the play here where Yu gets the blocker down, and he's a long ways out and above his crease area there, and closes down the angle. That's a great play, but particularly the challenge is if you don't manage to rebound, you allow the forecheckers to come in on the rebound, and they have got an angle around the end of goal.
Right, if he chose to hold the puck and try to beat you around the back, then you will have a problem. But that's when the goalie reads his instincts. And here's an attempt. Knocked high up in the air, off of the stick of Jang, and back from the Czechs. No numbers, because Korea seems to be back-checking very well. They're not giving up any odd man rushing.
Now they're back. They've got numbers in supports and behind the puck, as they say.
Geyer again, though, causing havoc, and Hebel also in the middle of it. And it stays in, kept in, and you see everybody cycling and turning and trying to put themselves back into a position to get off a good shot, because that's all it's about. Just get off a shot. And depending on the position, we've seen all kinds of things go into the net.
Well, it's always a good play. Look at Kabak, who's been a real soldier back there on the Czech blue line. This is the Czechs just taking a chance to test you one more time. and they have been good at putting pressure on. They haven't converted, obviously, as much as they would have liked, but they are dangerous, and they've got speed.
And another face-off won, but denied. And out comes Korea. Jung trailing. They try to get it to him. They do. Number 14 is everywhere on this team, and you'll see him digging, and he'll go right to the middle of the ice. Cho has it now. Loses it. Back comes the Czech Republic. Fojtik sends out, and now they surmise the situation. Stolen and knocked about, and the Koreans get it out of their zone, if barely. And then ahead. Watch Young go. And it's denied. What a save. Vipinka, fourth best goalie by the numbers in Sochi so far, but he has been every bit as good on certain plays.
Well, he stayed with the head fake, didn't he? And he had him down and out and just was able to throw the arm back and to prevent what looked to be a clear goal.
That was a chance that Young would like to have back. I saw the hesitation, but he waited and waited and tried to get Vipinka to move himself out of position, but nothing there for him to shoot at.
They would have wanted really to have elevated the puck, and it's easier said after the play as hindsight's 20/20, but he might have thought he had Vipinka clearly beat. He did, just not his arm.
And they'll skim that along the ice. The Chronic sends it out, but not totally out. And then you see Kim working in the corner, sending it all the way around to a teammate. Pinching in is Cho and keeps the play alive. And then behind the net is Kim. And now he has it, and they are set up well. With numbers in front and positioned well. The flick goes way wide, and just that quickly, an offensive opportunity turns in to a chance for Hagel. Oh, and it was fired, and I'm not sure that you got a piece of it. Seemed to have been sent wide on the shot. They'll try again, and just tremendous angle. Yu is just cutting the angle off from the post on. He's a big man.
You heard the sound of it going off the side of the net, and then it ricochets right out to the slot area. But a great chance as well for Hebel one more time, and he's had a couple cracks at it now, but Yu using the size and playing the angle, and again, playing the percentages, just keeping this Czech attack outside.
Oh, a near bad giveaway, but Korea comes away okay. It's, again, nice poke check, but the Koreans seem to be in good position, whether it's a little bit of luck or just proper thinking, but they're not caught. They're caught a couple times, and Yu has come up with it, but by and large, they're around the loose pucks.
The Koreans are a very sensible hockey team. Is now they work and they just hold on to possession. They don't give things up cheaply. That one there, a little bit of an errant pass, but they do have support that comes in. But they are a thinking man's hockey team without a doubt. And whilst they can play a physical and robust style, they like to think their way through their hockey play.
The puck sitting there and just an opportunity for Pika. Looking around, trying to make something happen. And now the Koreans have it. And down they go. Moved into position. Lee has it. And off the wall, and now back for the Czechs. Great setup, and oh, look at the play by Yu.
That there was sensational goaltending from the Korean as Safranek, the captain, was right in all by himself. Here they come one more time.
Yes, now the Czechs starting to get chance after chance. But the Koreans are quick on the counter. Nice job there by Thomas Bach, who pokes the puck back and out. But there are the Koreans yet again, flicking it in off the blocker, and we'll see what was called. Coach Kim wants teeing. Let's see what he's going to get.
And a change really in the momentum of the game here. with the Koreans having all of the action with the shots coming in the early stages of this first period. Now, as we move through the latter stages, this service across, and it was Safranek, and he got turned around and almost overplayed it. He tried to take the one-hand attempt and got tangled up the puck himself. And look at the strength and laying out as long as he could, and it was just his toe that prevented Safranek having a perfect opportunity to score.
If that puck isn't stopped by then it's just sitting there for Safranek to get some portion of his stick, and he was in decent position to just tuck it in. Oh, the giveaway again, and let's see, can he stop another one? One more time. Oh my goodness, point blank, Hebel fans.
Tremendous play again from the Czechs as they build their own momentum late in this first period, but they just can't quite connect the timing.
Those are devastating chances. Hebel's had 3 now.
He certainly has, and they've been flirting with it, but the Czechs will wonder if they concede the first goal, just how important those missed opportunities will become.
And also somewhere in the back of their head, they're wondering if Yu is really the best goalie in the world. Now Jung, look at him go to work, fastest man in the world, and looks good here. Walking right around, nice play, bounces it off the net. There's an opportunity there with time winding down in period number 1. There's a hit and a free puck. And we're down to 30 now with a play stoppage. Penalty free, but not excitement free. We've had breakaways for the Czechs, 3 or 4 point blank, right on, and unable to beat Yu.
And it becomes a mental battle, doesn't it? And you talk about Yu, who is very confident in the Korean goal, and until you beat him, and it's the same thing in any game, doesn't matter what you've done before. If you look at the Czechs' progress through the tournament, it was a game-winning shot scenario that they lost to against the Norwegians, and then they beat Sweden in that situation, and then only losing once to the #1 seed coming in this tournament, Canada, 1-0 in their final game in that group stage. So they will have gained confidence from that. And here is the Koreans with an outstanding victory over the host, and that was totally against the run of form in that match. They were down 2-0. And then finally the victory against Italy. But this was the play where Vapenka has saved the scoreline, and that was Young who makes the play.
Fastest man, and he's their goal scorer. He had a great chance, and look at that right about now. And then Hebel, count the numbers. I'm not sure which chance that was. That might have gone wide, but he's had opportunities that any goal scorer would dream of, particularly early in a game when you want to set the tone for your team. So we're winding down here as period number 1 is coming to an end, and it appears as if we are scoreless, but you never know. That puck takes strange bounces, and as long as they can fire the puck, we won't know for sure. Big collision, and it's safe to say now the period will end scoreless. There's some battling going on, no harm, no foul. Korea and the Czech Republic, about what we expected. Very heady, good teams that don't pour the puck into the net. They're not electric, not high-scoring teams.
Coming into the tournament, this is really about where they sit. The Koreans having to qualify for it, and the Czechs finishing number 5. They finished 5th as you watch a big hit here in Vancouver. This is their 2nd Paralympic Games. But these teams are battling for the opportunity to compete in that 5th-6th game, and as you see the final seconds tick down on the first 15 minutes of this important final classification match, it is going to remain scoreless. But the Czech team with a little more momentum as the final minutes of that period progressed.
And the Czech Republic only managing
one shot
on goal. Then some of those saves by Yu must have just been intimidation, and they didn't get shots on goal because they walked in alone several times. 7 shots, though, did come the way of Vapenka, and he had to be equal there. Surprising that only 1 got through.
Well, it is, and I think you look at chances where they're developing, and we're not even talking about the difference between shots and goal-scoring opportunities. The Czechs had chances to get shots, and they didn't quite get them on. And you're right, that size sometimes, the goaltender can put a shooter off because they realize that they think they've got to be perfect. And when you try to be perfect as a shooter, invariably you end up missing the goal sometimes because you just have to get the shot on and see if you can't be quick enough when you release to find a hole in the goaltender as he comes forward towards you.
Yes, we saw Zednik Abo come in at least 3 times, pretty close to breakaways, pretty close to by himself. 2 of them he didn't put on net. So again, maybe it's a little bit in his head as well, because Yu is an immense figure, but the work of Mihal Vipinka also looking good for the Czech Republic, and therefore 15 minutes in, we are scoreless with a lot of great action still to come. So stand by, period number 2, now 13 minutes away, and we'll take a break and see you in a few minutes. you have the action from the first period. Lots of chances gone awry, and really for both goalkeepers, great positioning pays off. And for the shooters, you saw some frustration from the likes of Hebel, and then for the Korean side, Jung, that last one, when he had Vipinka just dead to rights and just didn't hold on long enough and couldn't lift it. So, but such is the way it is in ice sledge hockey. It's chances and positioning. So scoreless, and we didn't expect anything that much different. We expected a tightly contested match.
Vipinka doing his job there, the 7 shots, and there's only the 1 shot being recorded at the moment for the Czech Republic in on the Korean goaltender Yu. And we were wondering whether or not we think that's an accurate recording, but there was chances there, but they couldn't quite get him on net. And he had a really good one, as he was, as you mentioned, with a great chance against Vipinka, and makes the head fake, had him down, and then he throws the arm across, and he really would have been able to have gone even further, and maybe he was trying to go what we call the 7-hole, which is under the arm and between the body and the arm, and quickly Vipinka was able to drop himself, and like a board he covered the bottom half of the net. And that's the key, as both of these coaches will be looking to try and create any sort of line matching or distinct advantage they can create for their team to try and get that all-important first goal.
Lee and Hebel, and it's won by Korea. Korea moving left to right on your screen. The Czech Republic right to left. Oh, and a giveaway right in the middle of their zone, and a little behind the back, a little dipsy-do, and Jung now shoots it, and it's deflected in front. Great work. I believe that was Hebel in front blocking it, so it never did get to his keeper, Vipinka.
And there's a great opportunity again. These bodies just getting in the way defensively, doing enough to get a piece on it so it doesn't end up having to be a shot on goal. But they are still in their own zone, the Czechs, having to work to collect that early pressure that's put on them. They finally are just trying to get the puck into a safe area now.
Nice hit by Safranek to keep the Koreans out of the play. And now another opportunity. Kropicki brings it in, and he's got people helping him. And he lost the puck. Oh, about just a devastating turnover when it looked like there was many men in red coming to help him. Now back the other way. Nice setup. Back to Young, he'll let it go, and over the head of Cubes and into the glove of Vipinka.
Good off-laying of the puck there as they come into the zone, the Koreans. And they layer and support the puck extremely well. And whoever has the puck during the offensive zone, if they don't see that there's an advantage to create with speed, they do it by numbers and trying to force the defenders out and then provide a little bit of a screen and a shield while the player in behind can then maybe find a channel towards goal. They get a shot in there, pretty comfortably taken though by Vipinka.
Another chance. Peppered in there. Cho let it go, and it just again bounced off one of the red jerseys harmlessly, and again out to center ice as they chase. A great deal of this first 12 or 13 minutes has been spent chasing the puck around in the corners and in center ice.
That's very true. Neither of these teams, as much as they are good, sensible hockey clubs, they haven't been able to really just keep the possession that they've had in other games up until now. And they're looking on Ikwon Kim, who's a very stern and commanding character on that Korean bench, and he shows his emotion. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and sometimes maybe that heart looks like he's got, well, a stone heart, but he is behind this Korean side, trying to will them to get the best of themselves.
They won the 2013 IPC Sledge Hockey Qualification Tournament. Got them in here, coming in as a 6th seed. So they know how to win, and when you have a keeper goaltender like you and some of the speed that they have like Young and up right in front there, a chance. Again, I'm impressed with the work of the Czech players getting in the way of the puck and just not letting it even get through to Vepinka.
One of the things about obviously the positioning of the players in front of their own goal as best as possible, trying to manage that space, but these sledges take up room, don't they? And they end up taking more area and trying to navigate your way around. It's like a bunch of boats out there in the water, and it's difficult to get in and amongst them. And if they've occupied the most important place on the ice, which is in front of the own goal, they're invariably also going to be good shot blockers as well.
The problem with that sometimes is it does shield the goalkeeper from seeing a clean shot. But more times than not, that shot will get blocked and the goalkeeper taps it. So down in the corner. Here comes Geyer, one of the Czech big goal scorers, wrapping it around, and now the chase is on. And it's sent in almost perfectly, but great back checking there by Safranek. Sends it the other way, and a nice play there by Wu. Drags the puck out, and now here we go again. A 2-on-1 if they win. They wait. Jung takes the check, and a big check it was. Oh my goodness. What a maneuver there. I believe that was Herbeck who had the big hit. Now Hahn sends it out and around. That was a tremendous check off the puck when Young, their best scorer, had a great chance.
Well, it's such an aggressive play, isn't it? As another one comes
there
in.
It is! The first goal of the game, Jerry Berger, who's had 9 shots, and his 10th shot proves to finally be the charm from distance. And you maybe was screened on that, but what a play down at the other end. And then look at that. Goes all the way through. Perhaps a deflection. Berger, no, I guess not, no.
The presence in front, though, of Wojcik.
Yep.
But Berger with that left-hand release, and we've seen it all tournament. He's a gunslinger from the blue line, and he just whips one with that left-hand snapping motion and finds a way from a distance and opens up this scoring. Such an important first goal for Berger.
Yes, and a surprise for you, who didn't think there'd be that much on it, and he was distracted by the motion to his right. Interesting turn of events. The big back check, knocking Jung off the puck, and now a giveaway. Now another chance. The big hit took the Korean off the chance of a great goal scoring chance, but now they come back and they have numbers again. I think it was 65 Herbeck on the back check that just completely took Jung out, and then the next time down, the Czech score.
It's such an impressive play, as I said, because he's the only guy back on what looked to be a 2-on-1. And to come across to be that aggressive to close down the developing shooter who was trying to make the pass across in front of the net. And Herbeck was committed. If he doesn't make that play and block that pass across, he's in trouble. As we watch the goal again, and Berger just steps into one, and his momentum is already going in that direction, and he just hitches and fires. And what a goal.
And that was Jung. You could see his reaction, knowing that just moments before he had a chance to make it 1-0 Korea. And now the Czechs trying to just unload some more, and Yu calmly knocks the puck down. Herbeck has it bottled up and eventually loses it back to the Koreans, and now they come with numbers if they're able to complete a pass here. Nope, we go the other way. Everyone looking for the puck, and it's the Koreans who come away with it momentarily. And all the way back down, icing by the Czechs, who will take that. 5 minutes in, they finally found a way to solve Man Ji-un-yu.
So that was our first icing, I think, here in the second period. So at least the play is much more continuous in the second as these teams find their level with each other. And the Czechs, though, who take that full advantage and are on the board first. If you look at the coach there, Ikwan Kim, he knows they've been here before, though, the Koreans. They've been behind. They know how to score goals. But in these types of games, that momentum is so crucial.
Just 3 shots on goal still for the Czech Republic. They've had chances, more chances, but just 3 through to the goalie. And of course, 1 getting in. Herbeck with another hit. Koreans continue to press the attack. There's the ever-present Jung up against Cubes in the corner. Oh, just missed Jung, and now it appeared the Czechs had something going, and instead it's sent back in. And here we go. Herbeck with the big hit that set up their goal. And now they're just battling back and forth in open ice. That'll be a shot on goal.
And interesting, you look at the distribution of ice time for the Czech side. Pretty balanced as they have possession now, trying to win it back, but pretty balanced. All of the players, Riza using his lineup to its entirety as the defense is being employed in good measure.
There's a chance, a big chance right in front, and it's denied. Vapenka.
Vapenka goes up and over to make that save as you see him just coming back to an upright position. And he had to find, again, all of his body to get in the way of that chance for the Koreans.
Well, it helps to be a big-bodied goalkeeper in this situation, because that had trouble written all over it, but he stayed with it. And again, it might be in the heads of the Koreans a little bit, just how big Vapenka is. That's the way Yu is a large goalkeeper.
Vapenka's numbers are actually better than Yu's so far in this game. Remember, the Czechs have only let up 3 goals.
That's incredible. Oh, and look at that. Looked like it was under control, and it's not. And Safranek is pushing, and Pallet is pushing. Kim is down. Habel back in play. And now it looks as if the Czechs are dominating. The men in red seem to be on every puck and to have numbers at every turn.
It gives you more energy, doesn't it? When you've got the lead, you can play with more confidence, and you actually realize you don't actually have to score. You just need to make good, sensible, strong plays. And even when you're in the defensive zone, you can still have confidence.
Almost a clean breakaway again. And a giveaway here, and what's that?
There's a delayed offside as the Koreans, you see them on the far side leaving the ice, and they're leaving the ice in the offensive zone. And once that puck comes out past the blue line, they're in a position where actually they're offside as they're substituting on their benches. And this, the second period, is always that case, that you'll have 2 periods where the defensive area of the bench is closer to the defensive zone and vice versa. In the second period, it's the reverse, and the forwards actually get themselves in an offside position. The assistant coach now taking the lead for the Koreans. This was a look back at some of the chances they've had, and this is the one straight give and go, and they have him beat. But Vapenka lays down and takes that in the chest area, and it was the perfect timing as the give and go exchange led to that advantage, and Vapenka had only one way to go, and to lay down.
Yeah, Cho would like that back, but he didn't make a bad play. He was just beaten by a better play.
Very calm character is Michal Vapenka, as he's doing his job for his nation right now.
Just missing. Sending Foge in. Now it's fits and starts, and then you'll have a great opportunity and a shot on goal or not, and then fits and starts and a check and a goal, and then it's a very disjointed game, and I guess part of that speaks to the way the teams play and how clever they are, and then you have good goaltending, which will make some shot makers look silly at times.
Well, it's a tactic, isn't it, to try and eliminate and to mute out the other team's strong players.
Possible shot denied as the Czech inner defense is just right where they need to be. Cubes turns it over, and there's Wu trying to pin it in, and it's in a scrum there, and it's free. Let's see who gets to it, and it's large. It's knocked free, and here comes Jung. You can see why he's called the fastest. He is the first one in whenever he has any opportunity in open ice. There's Jung again. Here he comes. Oh, takes a shot, keeps on going, looking for teammates, and he sets up 90 and a shot from Wu, but again, easily seen, easily picked by Penka.
Well, he takes a licking and keeps on ticking as the shot from the outside there from Park, and Vapenka will just take that, and a pretty comfortable save for the big man. But you're right, these games sort of will sit as though there's not much happening in them. And out of a play that looks like it's a well-managed and should be a simple play, forecheck to be employed, and next thing you know, a team's under pressure, they've made a mistake, and the goaltender's tested. And they look so calm and collected in goal because obviously they're sat there waiting for the majority of the time to get any play in which they've got to be ready for. And then all of a sudden it happens and they can look a little bit silly, but equally the shooters can look a little silly because they can just cover that bottom half of the net and lay down. And unless they go up high, and when they go up high, none of the players seem to have the consistency to elevate it in that area. And if they do, the goaltenders are pretty sharp with the gloves and blocker.
Right. And we've seen the loop shots where they go high and soft and hoping to drop it over. And that takes a real expert. That takes tons of practice to get that down, to get it over the goalie and down in the goal. But we've seen them try that.
Well, thinking of some of the clever moves that you do see, that one where the players try to get it on their stick plate and wrap it around almost like you would see in lacrosse. And there's a long effort there, almost like you might do in football, isn't it? Or in soccer, where you just loft it from a distance when you're trying to catch the goalie out.
Ahead, but back in good position is Zhang, and he clears it out. Jerry Berger, the goal scorer, knocked that one away.
It goes up and out of play, actually, and we'll have a whistle, obviously. As you look again, this is the play by Cho, and it's a long send-in. And Vapenka's got to watch it all the way. And not sure whether that was the indication from Kim just about a line change there. That's another cut to him on the bench. He's a very intense and very emotional character. And very much involved in this game and leading emotionally with his energy on that Korean bench.
Face-offs just as close as you can be. The shots aren't. They're still 11-4.
And that's in favor of the Koreans.
Yeah.
And they'll be wanting to get a return from all of that effort and industry.
They're in position here. Set up well. And it's lifted, but somehow controlled calmly by Penka. And ahead, here we go. It's effectively a 2-on-none. Cubes. Oh, he can't get the shot off. Jung now has it. Looked so good. Ended up with nothing.
Tremendous
And
play.
now down the other end. The shot. Oh, it whistled past, and he may get a rebound shot. And he's going to. He waits. He waits. The body's flailing all over the place. Han is 68. He had 2 goals against the Russians, and he can fire it, but hasn't had a chance yet in this game. And we get an icing. Wow.
There's a tremendous opportunity there for the Czechs to increase the scoreline, and they cannot take it all the way here. This is Safranek who ends up making that play. And then coming here, the backhand from Jung. And while it looks like it's an easy save, it's not. It's sort of butterflying in goal there, back and forth, and he makes the save, Papenka again.
All the way down, another, that'll be a shot on goal, they'll count that.
The Koreans needing just to settle the thing down as play inside their own zone. The Czechs just sort of buzzing around like bees, trying to get that second important goal.
Coming down to 3 minutes left in period number 2. Koreans with an opportunity now. A little flick, a loose rebound, cleared away, and we've seen this throughout this game. That's Jerry Berger, the goal scorer. We've seen defenders come in to help out they think of throughout the day.
And the defenders are so important in ice sledge hockey. Not only are they working defensively, but they're going forward offensively here. But Papenka leaves that rebound, and Berger comes back in front and tidies up. Berger, the goal scorer, though, too. And you see it, just how aggressive these defensemen can be. Not only are they big in size, and you look at Devok, who plays a physical brand of hockey. Equally, so does Herbeck on the blue line for the Czechs. But they have a lot of players that will come in on the second wave and help to create the traffic in front from those shots from the blue line, which stretches out that compact defensive structure in front of goal.
Uh-oh, big chance here. Hahn lets it go with the left hand. I've been talking about Hahn because he was so impressive in that game against the Russians. They gave up a late power play in the second period right after the Russians went up 2-0, and Hahn let go with a bullet that beat the Russian goalie top shelf, and then off a power play early in the third period, the Koreans tied it, and then they went back and forth in the shootout, and Hahn was the one to score the final game-winning goal in the shootout. So keep an eye on him. And he has yet to really get going. Big hit behind the net, and back come the Czechs. A little bit too far for Hebel. That's okay, because Kupiki's there. Sends it wide. Back come the Koreans. Herbeck gambling way in. Now he turns to get back. There's Hebel tied up.
The Koreans just having a little bit of a challenge breaking out of their own zone. And it's something that they have been more effective at in other games in this tournament. The Czechs just take good lanes, good angles to make it more difficult for them.
Yes, and you see the back checking. And then dump down, and now the Koreans have to chase again, and chasing backwards, not going forward. And look at the hit, creating the takeaway, taking away, and that's going to be a penalty. Referee kind of had to call that. It was going to lead to a scoring change.
Right in front there you see as the official was in great position in order to make this call. But we talked about how the Czechs work at both ends of the rink. And you look at the distribution of ice time for the Czech team. Every single player is getting themselves involved in the game and having an opportunity to contribute. As there you see the penalty being taken. And that's going to be against Kupika. But if you look at the Koreans, they have a number of players who haven't got on the ice yet. Sa is one, also Choi, and they've got a few different players. Lee, Yang, still yet to get any ice time as well. Lee here, and so if you're talking about players being mentally involved and switched in the game as far as at both ends of the rink, the way Breeze is using his lineup is to his advantage to have his team constantly thinking hockey and being sharp.
They scored 2 humongous power plays against the Russians to force overtime. And their power play 2 for 8. Both those 2 were end of the second, early third against Russia on their home ice. And here we go. Point blank, the shot, and you see the calm of Vapenka.
But another penalty coming up, and it looks like it's going to be against the Czech Republic as Vapenka takes away that scoring opportunity. And now Korea looking to take what could be a 5-on-3 advantage, and Priza giving instructions into his team as the official about to make the call. The Russian Samulov is going to call holding, and we'll wait to see. And it's going to be Wojtek, I think, who is going to be penalized with the hold. So a power play 5-on-3 advantage now for Korea.
And for those watching, this compared to stand-up hockey, is 5-on-3 a bigger advantage in ice sledge hockey?
I think it's probably in ice hockey, you know, able body, probably because they're able to move quicker to create that real advantage in the shooting lane. But equally still here, you move this puck around, the puck moves quicker than the body.
Watch Han. Oh, he ripped it. That was what I was talking about. Jung saves it, trying to avoid the big hits. Knocks him over, 5-on-3 for at least a minute 7 more. Then they'll have a one-man advantage for the next 38 seconds. But right now it's the Czechs in control and just milking the clock and clearing it. And looks like an equalizing penalty.
It's going to be a penalty here. It looks like it's going to be interference as the official is right there, and you see the frustration from
Kim is not happy. I don't speak Korean, but I know that means I'm not happy.
And Jung is going to go off here, and he's involved here with Abel, and he just pushes him off the play, and it's a pretty mild call in comparison to some of the play that's allowed to continue. But this hasn't been a particularly physical match, and that was a surprise.
But when you're up 2 men, aren't the officials just by nature looking to maybe bring it back to a one-man advantage? Isn't that human nature among the officials?
I'll say that the officials are always trying to execute the rule book, and the integrity of the game.
Oh no, of course.
But human nature always has a factor.
Right. They're just trying to also be egalitarian.
Yep. Let's say they are, without doubt, they like to see equality.
Jung not happy.
Leaves his stick outside the door, and it's collected and brought back in. Now Korea.
Oh, and a 10-minute misconduct.
That would have been their frustration
on their best player. That is not good.
Ill discipline could cost the Koreans, as this exchange of penalties between both teams opens up this game.
Yes, it does. So they'll be even, and then in 40 seconds, the Czechs will go on the power play for about 40 seconds. The period will end, so an opportunity. Oh, it's on, drifted in, and almost had a chance to let go of one of his patented blasts. Puck going all the way down. Not icing. And look at who it is. It's Geyer sending it back. 14-1 final rush. And that will go awry. So 10 seconds to go, and this period is going to end 1-0 Czechs. And when we come back, then it'll be about another 30 seconds, and the Czechs will have a 30-second power play.
Yeah, it's going to be 4
on 4. You get done
with
the math, yeah.
Yep, to start the third period. And Korea really letting themselves off the hook as they were in a great position to maybe get themselves back in this one. And Priza could feel it and see it, but that penalty there just really taking the sting out of the advantage 5 against 3. And still only 1 shot away. But they'll need to just up the ante a little bit here in this third period in order to get what they want from this match.
But they're going to have to do it again. The 20-minute misconduct to their best player, no doubt about it. Young Sung Kim is I'm sorry, check that. Sung Hwan Young, who has a goal in this tournament and leads them in 82 minutes of action, and he'll have to sit out the majority of the game. I believe the 20-minute misconduct will take him out of the game.
Well, you look at the shots here after the 2 periods of play now, and again, the Koreans still very strong. 16 to 5 in total for the Czech Republic, but it is the Czech Republic with that all-important crucial goal as they make the most of an opportunity from their defenseman, Yuri Berger, and he just steps in and wires one. And that's the difference in this one as we push ourselves forward in this game. And at the moment, probably the Czechs are just maybe, even though they haven't had as many shots, in that position to really warrant that score. It's a real tough game to call, as it's been sort of in fits and starts, as we say, and these penalties now at the end will have a bearing on this hockey game.
But clearly, the Koreans have played games that were more up and down in the scoring. The Czechs, this is right in their alley, isn't it? 1-0, 1-all, 2-1. And they're used to 1-goal games, and they understand the pressure. I think the Koreans have shown the ability to come back. We saw it against the Russians, and never was there a more pressure-packed event than opening night with the Russians holding a 2-0 lead, and you come back and you win that in a shootout. So they've certainly shown their mettle there, but of late, their last outing, really unable to take advantage of an Italian team to put themselves in position to maybe qualify for the medal round. They lost that game to the Italians, and now here we are in classification. And 1-0. Not too far from what we thought, but how will they handle the lack of their leader? No doubt that Sung-Hwan Yoon will miss the period with the 20-minute misconduct. So someone else will have to step up. And we'll be back. Brent Pope, Tom Kirkland enjoying this with you. Relax. We'll have statistics and highlights for you coming up here in about 7 or 8 minutes time. some of the best from period number 2. 16-5. The Koreans out shooting the Czechs, but they trail 1-0. And we have a correction. There was a 10-minute misconduct handed out to Korea's best player, Sung Hwan Jung, their electric player, their best player, who leads the team with 82 minutes. And so he will only have to sit out 10 minutes of misconduct, but the effect of it will mean he will be back for about the last 6 minutes, and that's a tough thing to lose your best player for more than 2/3 of a period when you lose goals.
Of course it is, and that 1-0 being the difference. And whilst there are other players that can play, I mentioned before that the coach, Ik-Kwon Kim, isn't using everybody in his Korean lineup as the Czechs are. They're using the entirety of their roster, and while they've got a couple less players dressed, it's about 5 players who have seen no ice time for the Koreans in this one. And that will tell a story as you're battling to try to get back, and then you lose your number 1 player for a 10-minute misconduct who shows ill discipline as he goes off the ice, frustrated by the call. And it's easy to be frustrated. There was no doubt that the call was maybe a meek one, but you have to be able to maintain your composure. And when small margins are the difference in between teams at this level, maybe the Koreans have just let the Czechs off the hook, because the Koreans were coming and they've had more pressure and they've been able to do enough to think that they were going to get a goal in this game. But now they are a little bit of their backs against the wall now.
We'll see how they perform. They performed very well against, again, the Russians. That seemed to be the best game they played that first night when they came in and stunned the Russians, and then there was a quick turnaround and another tough chance when they had to play the U.S. off of the emotional high. It set up a game against Italy with a chance for the Koreans to play themselves perhaps into the medal round, and they again didn't play their best. So we'll see what happens here. We're 4 aside, and then it'll be about a 30-second power play for the Russians.
Just offside there as it just comes outside of the line. And again, kind of scrappy work as the Czechs are just able to hem in the Koreans, just trying to get themselves going. There is Gier. And Lepenka calmly, he's got his helmet always set up right on his head. Any opportunity he can get, he gets that up, takes a breather. And we saw it come right off in the course of play earlier in this match. And put a little tape on it. Hopefully it's more secure now.
And the Koreans scale it down deep into Czech zone and another icing.
Unusual play that right off the face-off just to get rid of it, because they are 4-on-4 as they both have players still in the box, and then the advantage will come for the Czechs. And Riza just getting clarification from the official on the call on the ice. It's all part of the game management, but 4-on-4 right now.
And now the power play begins for the Czechs.
A chance just with a few seconds early in the 3rd period. Herbeck, who's had a very strong game, he was the one that made that play that we were talking about back in the 2nd period defensively. The opportunity, an offensive one now for the Czech Republic.
Face-off so important. Hahn wins it, clears it, and that'll take up most of the rest of the penalty. But again, out of the penalty box will not come Jung, the Korean leader. He's serving the 10-minute misconduct. He'll be back at some point midway through the period. Meantime, the penalty is about over, and Korea forcing the action. Even strength. And it deflects back in off of the Czechs, back behind their own zone. So no icing. And chased by the 2 Koreans. The hit. All the way down. Yeah. And now, again, as we've seen through most of this game, wide open ice. Not a lot of possession, at least controlled possession. The Koreans shaping up nicely. They can now, oh, and a big hit, an absolute explosion. And that was Eric Foychtik, who just crushed his opponent. And Foychtik now is working on another one right there on Park. He's polite with him.
Well, he cut back against the grain, didn't he, the Korean player?
Didn't
right
see
into
it.
Foychtik and right into his track, and he got him on a one-way track going nowhere.
And now giveaways and ill-conceived passes and plays, and now the puck laying there, and that's a scary sight. Except once again, got to credit Michal Geyer and some of the goal scoring on the Czech Republic, who have come back and done good work fact-checking. Sometimes those guys like to lay out a little bit and try to find a way to get down and score, but they're doing the dirty work down the other end.
Well, it's part of the strategy of Breeza, the coach, as you watch the hit here.
Oh.
And it's solid right through the middle of the Korean, and he just takes him right off of his sledge and down on his backside. But that's the strategy of Breeza. He has every single one of his players utilized and involved in his lineup. Now, if that's as a result of he's been able to encourage them all to be of a level, the key for any team, though, you're only as good as your weakest player.
Right.
And you have to have your players that maybe you think are a weaker link involved, because they're not going to get any better just sat on the bench watching.
Right. And for every minute or two or three that those guys are playing, you're resting your better players. So if you can, in essence, cheat a few minutes here and there with players who aren't as good as your top players and give them a rest, then when they come back on the ice against the other team who has been taxing their best players with big minutes, then you would think, we certainly saw that in the first classification game, where eventually the Italians playing and rolling lines just too much for the Swedish team, who played gamely, but at the end they were just wiped out. And you see both teams applauding an injured player. See how that affects the Breeze's lineup.
Well, there he is. I think that's Herbeck there. He was just back, and whether he was the one just getting adjusted or the player has gone to the room. Herbeck looking for instructions from his coach, Breeza, as a long delay for the Koreans, just almost utilizing that as a timeout, and it's an offensive zone faceoff for them, so why not? It's a clever play by Kim, the coach, to make sure they're all on the same page.
Hebel loses the face-off, or does he? It's still up for grabs, and a big chance now. And you see the glove. That was Wu unloading, but just didn't have enough on it. It was just high and rather easy for Michal Vipinka to just gather in.
Well, he knew exactly where that was going, and he was already
no traffic in front of him or anything.
He's going to see that puck from that distance, and you watch. This was the collision where it was Kavak, and it was Kavak who has been taken to the room as he's feeling the worst of that collision.
And let me guess, we have another icing. 11:50 left. Young should be ticketed to come back fairly soon. He should be back with about 4 minutes to go, if I count correctly.
There is Kavak back on the bench, and he has been a mainstay. He's done a great job on the blue line for the Czech Republic all tournament, and smiles abound there. So whatever he needed adjusting, he's been able to get that looked at, feeling much better about things now on the Czech bench.
Face off, poke. Nicely ahead, denying what looked like a possible chance for the Koreans. And there's Han. If he gets an opportunity, he has a big shot that could tie this up. And you see the back checking again. Very impressive work. That's 75, Jerry Rowell. And the attempt to dump in goes right in. And now the other way. Poke and taken down, and no call.
Pallet that went down hard. He made his way quickly to the bench for a line change.
And they have a big chance now, but that goes awry after a big hit from another defenseman doing work for his keeper. Chance in front, if he can gobble it up, and he does. You saw several white shirts eagerly anticipating. Cho got the puck in there, but just not enough bodies in the right position.
Well, it fell favorably for Mapenka just to lay out. You see him just sat there. Almost looks as though you'd be more comfortable with a beach towel underneath him and just sort of laying out, catching himself some rays, but he's right in the middle of a pressure cooker. One goal, the separation between these two teams, and just the one goal in the game. As Frieza is again giving instructions very much at the front of that bench, wanting to make sure his team are constantly just being prompted and reminded of the little things that they'll talk about between periods. As that was a good collision just a moment ago. As the Czechs continue as a team, and there is Gavok, who has been enjoying his hockey, chatting away with his goaltender there, Kapenka. And those two have had a very solid tournament. Only the 3 goals conceded.
Yep. And Kapenka had a shutout at the World Championships where they finished 4th, losing to Russia 3-0 in the bronze medal game. So again, this is a team that many teams in the medal round are happy they don't have to face this team.
You're very right, and they are emerging, and they were very much a possibility of getting into that semifinal.
Now, chances in front, the giveaway. Oh, and off the post! That was Young Sung Kim ripping that, and you heard it hit the post. Park now behind, and that's just that close. Jang was in there.
It was one of the most threatening opportunities the Koreans have had in a good portion of the latter stages of this hockey game. And from a distance, you heard the crying going right off the post, and not this time, but Penka couldn't reach it. It was just maybe a little bit of the ill accuracy.
He almost didn't react. I mean, it just
right off the bar.
Just blistered. Oh, he did react. He had the hand up.
Got a touch on it, and there you watch
Kim is that close.
That was on point, wasn't it? If he doesn't just get a touch on it and just change the trajectory just a slight degree, that was going in net.
Hasn't seen Young Sung Kim unleash that kind of power before. And I think that surprised Penka a little bit, but not enough to throw him out. Eventually makes the save. Look at the work behind. Safronic trying to battle. The Koreans, oh, and look at it. They send out their man. Oh, and he loses his edge. That was Lee. And if you're wondering where that fastest man in the world is, it's Sung Hwan Jung, and he is still in the penalty box and will be for another couple of minutes at least, serving a 10-minute misconduct for not agreeing with somewhat of a flimsy call on a 2-man advantage. Then when the referees took away the 2-man, he was not happy with the call, and here they come. 3-on-1 and an offside. And Han, he was on display and earned a lot of fans and some interest probably from teams looking to add players.
A penalty though.
Looked like a lot of it was an offside, but it looks like
Safronic is
going to go for teeing. So here's a play. There's the tee. Yep, crushing right into Wu. So the captain sits out for 6:23. Well, for 2 minutes at 6:23, and see what happens here. Great opportunity for Korea to tie this game and maybe find a way to force overtime. And they're working there in the corner. Park with the body. And all the way down. This is a penalty killer's dream. Slow, That'll work off about 15 or 20, maybe 25 seconds. You can see Koreans with power play decent. And that's a good pass. That'll count. And the same man who shot it before and tested Vipinka was ready to load up again. Kim, how about now? Bounces wide. Everything going in front of Vipinka is a potential goal, just with the nature of being on the power play and having advantage of numbers. Nahil Gayer going up and causing some commotion, tying up the Korean and delaying the play a little bit.
And he looks like he's about to call another one. In the corner, you see the frustration coming from the Korean. And we'll just wait to see just exactly what's the official call from the referee. And Vipinka is calmly. He's going to call it charging.
He's going to enjoy it.
Kim now looking on.
He's going against Zhang, the charging. He's not happy.
He comes a long ways, doesn't he? And Pierre's already there. He's established position. And to have had that much force for that much of a run-up coming across the ice into the corner, particularly when the player is prone and vulnerable with his back to him.
Yeah. Very ill-timed penalty when you're trying to mount a challenge. And let's see what happens now from the Czechs. 7:19 to go. Jung will return shortly. Korea's best player, but this penalty just comes at a terrible time, and it negated their power play again.
And when you're already missing your top player, as been the case for the entirety of this third period so far, not a great position for the Koreans. Working hard though, but they've done enough just to keep this at bay. They're still only one shot out from leveling this game and pushing it into extra time.
Good stick work from Pallet. Gets it out, and Pallet's back in control now. Knocked down. The Koreans work it to send it on in. Minute to go on the power play for the Czechs. Kostick all the way down, icing. So there's a blown opportunity.
Czechs with that man advantage and just releasing the puck, but whether or not that's part of their strategy, well, only they'll know. But there has been a lot of that fractured play throughout the entirety of this match, where both teams really just not completely exact in their execution of making those passes and those little interplays with each other. But now the Czechs with the advantage and a face-off to the left of Vipinka. An important opportunity for them to continue to control these later stages of this third period.
And face-offs being dominated by the Czechs now. And the Czechs 40 seconds more of a power play. And right now, though, the Koreans doing work behind the Czech goal. There is Park tying up two, wanting a call, yelling at the official, not getting the call, and it's cleared. And it's nice, very well set up. And they circle right out of an opportunity. That was Habel, who has had his openings in the first period, had many, but just circling and circling and circling, and now the icing. So not maybe Zdeněk Habel's best minute of play there.
No, it's not. I think there was the Czech player just looking to leave the zone, and whether he hadn't waited for him at the time, but he's actually the referee again. He's busy with the whistle as the elbow on the play was late, and another Korean penalty as it's Kim. Young-sung Kim is going to take the penalty, it looks as though, number 12, and there you see it. He's going to get elbowing, and that looked to be a harmless play at the time. It looked as though it was just a delayed offside and had been forced in one more time by the Czechs, but a silly one to be taking here now for Korea once again.
They're down 2 men, down 1-0. Down 2 men, well, for 1 second, but still again having to kill a power play with a full 2 minutes, and it still takes 10 seconds for the man to get into the play. So See the Czechs being able to control it. It squirts out, and an opportunity. Puck takes crazy bounces sometimes. And that's 77 Pallet, who's been in on a lot of plays. That's controlled and cleared, but not out. Great job of keeping it in by Cubes, and a setup, and it's in! And justice is served. Tomas Kvak, who left with the injury but would not go down the tunnel. He said, get me back in there, and he's in the perfect position. 47 years old, first goal, and look at him.
He's absolutely delighted, and Kvak, who doesn't get many offensive chances.
It was tipped off of somebody.
And I think it's actually off of the defender, who ends up being the screen in front of
That's Wu.
Yu.
Yeah, Wu gets it past Yu on the deflection. The goal goes to Kvak.
And a great celebration and a tremendous big smile across the face of Thomas Kvak.
So a two-goal lead in this kind of a situation. Out of the penalty box comes one. You just can't be down a goal to this team with that goalkeeper and take penalties.
You certainly leave the door open, and it was left ajar, and Kvak walks right in and takes full advantage for the Czech Republic. A two-goal lead might be just a little bridge too far.
If they hold on and win this, they will take on Italy on Friday in a game for 5th, 6th. And then it would be the Koreans and the Swedes for 7-8.
And the players having difficulty hearing the offside call from the linesman there. And again, the discussion, it was, and another penalty potentially here is stealing the show in the third period is Samuelov, who is coming over to the timekeeper's bench. And is he awarding another penalty? And he is. It's roughing, and the Koreans have lost a lot of shape. He's giving out two. It looks like roughing and slashing. So watch here as this just develops off the play. Looks like the roughing is going to go. And then the slash was in prior. And I think Geyer will get the slash in.
Geyer and Cho.
So roughing for Geyer and the slashing for Cho.
So there'll be 4 aside and the keepers, if my math is right. Been a busy penalty box here in the third period, and really for the Koreans, there were obvious calls and calls that do not contribute to a comeback win.
That's very.
But the good news is their best player, Young, has served his 10-minute misconduct, and so he should be back on the ice. If he can get 2 goals in a short period of time, less than 5 minutes, would be remarkable.
Kim looking for clarity from the Korean bench as to just what the calls are and which players he's going to have out on the ice here. And there seems to be some confusion about the coincidental penalties that were taken and just who was receiving the penalties. But Friese keeping focus with his team. His team's in the pole position right now. They've got a 2-goal lead, and their job is just to pay attention to detail, support each other, and work at both ends of the rink, particularly in front of their own goal, in front of Michal Lepenka.
And it's a 2-goal lead, but almost as important, they want the shutout.
And more clarification between the timekeeper's bench and Samuelov. And we talk about Igor Samuelov, the Russian official, as if Lepenka's on your screen. He really has been probably the most noticeable character in this hockey game in this third period, as he has been blowing that whistle and sending players to the box. And Cho is the one who got the slashing on the play. And so if we're looking at it, it's going to lead to a Czech power play in the final analysis.
Look at this third period. 5 penalties alone in the third period. The second period had 4. 4 aside. And when it's all said and done, it looks like they're coincidental, so they'll be at the same time.
And again, Samulov has blown the whistle, and don't tell me that he's going to have called a 7th penalty, is what we look to be having here coming up. And it's hard to keep up right now, and he has called another one. And the Koreans just keep sending an assembly line.
That's Jang that's in, and he's not happy. He's going in for roughing. So, lack of composure. We haven't seen enough of the replays to really see the calls. There's been a couple of delicate ones that have gone against the Koreans, but now chances for the Czechs to add to their 2-0 lead. And a chance right there. It would be fitting for Habel to get one. He's had chances, but he gives it back. Now up front. A little attempt goes off with Hahn in front, and there's Habel again. He's everywhere. Sends it back to the goal scorer, Berger. He's going to try for 2, and he lifts it high, and it looked like it went off the mask or the glove.
He certainly started hard and caromed out pretty quick.
And Habel again. No goal. Habel not destined to score tonight. Berger has one, and maybe he'll have another. Easily snared by Yu, the keeper.
You see his frustration as he drops that puck, and he knows that this game has probably got away from the Koreans. And Habel in a great position again. Berger with that real side-winding release as he just gets it off. And this is the replay from Habel, who comes in trying to get it past. And Yu's looking behind him, which is a scary sign. That was the penalty that we saw that was called, just the elevation of the stick, and that was the roughing call from Yang, the other Korean penalty. So yeah, they're a little bit light, some of the calls, but they're ill-disciplined. They're frustration from the Koreans, and that's what the official is not taking any leniency with. And it's sloppy play from the Koreans, in fairness. As much as it may look quite incidental, it's just showing a lack of respect and playing this game and finishing it strong like they should.
No doubt. And you see the Czechs passing the puck around, 4-on-3, a tremendous advantage here. Just all kinds of ice time. And there's a giveaway. Wu gets it and sends it out and around as we tip down somewhat anticlimactically to the end of this game. Wasn't the case earlier in the first classification game where it was anything but. It was Italy scoring late goals to force overtime and winning it in overtime over a Swedish team that really deserved better.
And you talk about the frustrations of the Swedish coach in that one, who expresses his disappointment in the referee being involved in the play, and it was just an incidental clearance around the offensive zone by the Italians or the Swedes in that situation, and they couldn't get the momentum that they wanted, and the referee gets in the way. Well, wow. What would Lundgren, the Swedish coach, have to say about the official here, as Kim, no doubt, is frustrated with this third period, but he'll know that it's his team as well that have equally responded in a way that has led to this changing of entire momentum. And that penalty taken by Young was certainly a big part of it as well.
10 minutes without your best player, now he's back, but again, down 2 with 2 minutes to go. Unless they score quickly, and then we did see it earlier, we saw the Italians really bravely pull their keeper with over 2.5 minutes left, and it paid off as they scored the equalizer. Not sure we'll see that here at all as the Czechs walk in, and the shot, he's looking behind him, and then he goes ahead and takes a little bit of a run at Kopicki. And we're at 90 seconds left in this one. So it does look like it will be the Czechs and the Italians, and then the Swedes and the Koreans Friday for 7-8 and 5-6 battles. A dead giveaway. Not quite able to be gathered. And that's part of the struggle and frustration of the sport is you can see it from above, they'll see the opportunity, but if you don't have the puck on your stick, and that was a big hit, and there will be a penalty as Mihail Geyer just wiped out the Korean behind the net, and they ought to touch it and get the power play and let the, there goes Young walking in. They would like to get the goal and break up the shutout. Now the penalty, I was referring to maybe having the Koreans let the Czechs touch the puck and therefore go on the power play immediately.
The Koreans just using that opportunity while they had possession, and they haven't had a lot of sustained possession. It's going to be elbowing that is now the call. And this was Gear who comes in. He comes in high, and he's aggressive as he wipes out, as you mentioned, Lee, Young Lee, the captain for Korea. And he'll go and sit down for the remainder, or less potentially, if the Koreans are able to orchestrate a possession off of this offensive zone face-off and maybe get themselves on the board.
They could also pull the goalie here and have two men up, but I don't see it. No.
Well, they'll not want to maybe take that unnecessary risk at the moment. It looks as though just the energy from the Koreans, that they look a little depleted.
And the clock will wind down, and that'll do it. 10 seconds, 2-0, the comeback not to be. Giveaway, loss, shutout, Bihal, Vipinka, and the Czech Republic. And there was Tomáš Kvak, who was injured but came back and scored a goal, an effort goal. The other goal scored by one of their regular goal scorers. That was Jerry Berger. 2-0. Czech Republic takes down Korea. Now they'll position themselves for Friday's action. As again, referred to it, but the Czechs will get the Italians and Korea will get Sweden.
You see the smile there in Kavak's face. He's a trade mechanic back in the Czech Republic in his day job, and here he is in the Paralympic Games. He scores a huge goal that settles this game down and really sees the Koreans out and done as far as competing for 5th or 6th. They will compete for 7th or 8th position, as you mentioned, against the Swedes, but the Czech Republic, who have only conceded 3 goals in now 4 matches, are good for their money and totally deserve that scoreline today.
Amazing. Amazing. 3 goals in 4 games, and they're not sniffing the medal round at all. But again, as I said, there's 4 teams in the medal round that are happy they're not facing this team, even though they will have their hands full. Russia, Norway, Canada, USA, and those are 2 high-end games. We're done here at Shayba Arena in Sochi. You see the coach of the Koreans, good sports, shaking hands with the victorious Czech Republic. 2-0 again, the final score here. The officials on ice to congratulate. Not sure the Koreans are overjoyed with the one Russian official, but it is what it is, and I think the crowd appreciated it. And certainly you'll see the players thank the crowd for their vocal support here this evening. The roar from the Czech crowd. And really the Koreans, maybe not so much in this game, but they have put a thrill into this tournament by putting the Russians on the verge with really an absolutely heroic opening night win in overtime.
Certainly did. I mean, Korea could have changed the entire complexion of this tournament in day number 1 with getting that game-winning shots victory. And then it was when the Koreans and the Italians faced each other ahead of Russia versus the Americans. It actually made it very clear, just that Russia could actually go through, but they were on the verge after day 1. Right. Russia, the host, uncertain as to whether or not they get through that semifinal, and it was the Koreans who were 2-0 down and came down and made that victory in the Shayba in the game-winning shots. It was sensational, but breathtaking stuff, and nervous moments indeed for the Russians, with great hopes in this tournament still.
Yeah, you see the Koreans outshot the Czechs. Twice as many penalties. That didn't help. Power plays, unable to score. And again, just a, yeah, go have a few. Mr. Kavak, you've earned them.
He enjoyed that one. I don't think he gets too much activity in the offensive zone. And the way he bounced back, it was a great plaudits to, well, the way he has just been a rugged blue liner all week for the Czechs.
And Man Jae-yoon, the Korean goalie, again, played well, made some sensational saves, just not enough support in front of him. And now he has one more chance to pick up a win here in Sochi. And they'll be battling a Swedish team that has yet to pick up a win. So there again, Yuri Briza, Czechs coach, as they extend this celebration as they advance to the 5-6 game on Friday. They'll face an Italian team that's a good matchup. Here's some of the best and most difficult to take. And a celebration for the Czechs. A shutout on the way through their first classification here in Shayba Arena. See, it's an opportunity. The crowds here have been so immense. Over 300,000 at various venues at all of the Paralympic Winter Games sports, supporting these like none other and setting records. And this just part of that. These are classification games for lower positioning, and still several thousand on hand for the day-night session.
That's a 7,000 seat arena, and it's been pretty well sold out as we move through right from the beginning of the tournament from day 1 and now into day 5.
All right, that's it. We're back on Thursday for the medal round, and that should be something. Norway, Russia, USA, Canada. Good night, everybody.